Hello and welcome back to Off the Post. In today's video I'll be discussing my Mount Rushmore of players in the Premier League, but before that, as always, please like, comment and subscribe. It's very much appreciated and it goes a long way in helping me build a small community on my channel, okay? I've just recently looked and we've got 59 subscribers now. 59, we're one away from 60 and I can't believe it. It was only a few videos ago I was asking for if we can reach 50 subscribers, and we've done way better than that. We've got 9 more at the moment. We're 1 off 16. I just can't believe it. I'm absolutely blown away from the level of support you guys have shown on my most recent videos, all the likes, the comments, all the support on social media as well. It's been absolutely amazing. But let's just get straight into the video, shall we? I think we should start off by obviously giving you a definition of what Mount Rushmore actually means, okay? So obviously it is a high rock cliff in the Black Hills of the US state of South Dakota, where it is famous for the very large heads of the 4 US presidents in the rock. Obviously George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln and Theodore Roosevelt. Hopefully I've said those 4 names correctly. Anyways, obviously we've seen this a lot in the NBA, where people would like to choose their most 4 talented players they've ever seen from the NBA, from basketball, in the world of basketball, all that sort of stuff. So I want to put it in a football perspective now and give you my 4 favourite players from the Premier League era, from the old days in the Premier League to the new days in the Premier League as well. So yeah, I feel like let's get straight down to business, shall we? Starting off with the first player on this list, that is Thierry Henry, okay? For me, when he was at Arsenal, he was absolutely fantastic. He won a total of 7 trophies, including 2 Premier Leagues, 3 FA Cups. He also won the FA Community Shield twice as well, so 7 in total. But for me, when you speak about Thierry Henry, he was more than trophies. He was just absolutely flawless. He had everything in his game. He could beat a player, he could take players on, he could dribble past players, he could score goals out of nowhere. Some of the goals he scored, I remember that one goal, watching it on a highlight, where it was against Manchester United from like 2001 or something, where he was outside the box, flipped up in the air and did like a half volley, if you like, straight into the top corner. And honestly, he was scoring goals for fun, and those days in Arsenal, right, going invincible for Arsenal as well, for Arsene Wenger, was absolutely fantastic. He was a superstar in the Premier League and he's very widely considered the best player in the Premier League history, full stop. So that's why I feel like Thierry Henry has to be the first player on my Mount Rushmore list, okay, one of the 4 players. He was absolutely amazing. There was no stopping at Thierry Henry. You couldn't beat him. The defenders in the Premier League were having nightmares coming up against him. They honestly were. Nobody could stop him. He was absolutely fantastic. Like, link-up play he had with like Bergkamp and the rest of the Arsenal players in that team was absolutely fantastic, but especially Bergkamp, because those two were phenomenal. They generally were. That partnership they had together was absolutely amazing. And also the likes of, you know, Robert Perez and Freddie Ljungberg as well, the Swedish right mid as well. So, you know, he had a great partnership with some of the players. And obviously, he didn't spend that long in the Premier League compared to some of the players on this list. But what he did for the likes of Barcelona as well was absolutely fantastic. Okay, he might not have had the best time at Barcelona. Did win a few trophies, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it came to a bit of a stalemate, and he had to leave in the end and whatnot. Well, that's what I've heard at least anyways. Obviously, I'm a little bit young, so I don't really remember watching him that much, Thierry Henry. But obviously watching the highlights on YouTube and all this sort of stuff, you know, I feel like he's guaranteed to be on everybody's Mount Rushmore list. Anyways, let's move over now to the second player on this Mount Rushmore list. Now, for me, it has to be Wayne Rooney, okay? For me, when I think about football growing up, Wayne Rooney is one of the main players I first think about, because for what he did for that Manchester United team was absolutely fantastic, okay? He has won 16 trophies at Manchester United. Again, it isn't all about trophies with Wayne Rooney. He was one of England's most talented players to ever come through the English, to come through England, basically, wasn't he? When you think about Wayne Rooney as a player, as a striker, he had everything to his game. He could hold up the ball, he could finish, he could dribble, he could shoot, he could score, he could run past players, he can, you know, do everything by himself. He didn't need players around him to make him better. Wayne Rooney was the best player at the age of 16. We've seen it when he broke through at Everton. You've seen him in interviews say himself that when he came through at Everton, he had so much confidence and belief that he was the best player, breaking through into the first team. And I feel like he probably felt like that throughout the whole of his career. He was on every cover of FIFA, wasn't he? You know what I mean? That just shows he was a fantastic player. I don't know why I brought that up, but Wayne Rooney, that overhead kick he scored against Manchester City, I will always remember that when it comes to thinking about Manchester derbies. That has to be one of the best Manchester derby goal ever, okay? It is the most iconic one for me, at least. Let's just speak about some of the trophies he won, okay? Because he won 16 in total. Obviously, he got 5 Premier League trophies, a Champions League, a Europa League, and he's also won the FA Cup, 3 League Cups, and 4 Community Shields. So, from that perspective, he probably does go down as one of Manchester United's best ever players. And when you think about other Manchester United players you could include in this Mount Rushmore, you've obviously got the likes of Ryan Giggs, Eric Cantona, Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Scholes. But for me, watching football was all about Wayne Rooney at Manchester United growing up, so I have to include him. I can't not include him. I don't want to include more than one player from one club, if that makes sense. I'd rather include one player from each club if I could, but obviously there's only 4 players on this list. But yeah, I think also as well, when you speak about Wayne Rooney, he is Manchester United's record goal scorer with 253 goals. So from that perspective, he is so close to Alan Shearer's record. Obviously, you know, I think that's all goals in all competitions. It's not just in the Premier League, but he's only 7 away from Alan Shearer's 216 in the Premier League. So I don't know if there's a comparison there to be had, but you know, to get 253 goals is absolutely fantastic. And when you think about him, you know, he can play in any sort of position, can't he? Obviously, started out his career as a striker, spent most of his playing career as a striker, of course, but then during his sort of older years, he dropped deep, didn't he, and become more of a cam, more of a centre mid. He also played out on the wing as well a few times for England and whatnot. And you know what I mean? He did come so close to winning the trophy with England, like with the Euros and the World Cup as well. Don't get me wrong, we've had some sort of difficulties winning the World with England back in the day, obviously. You know, I remember that game against Iceland, that quarterfinals against Iceland, how we got knocked down. I couldn't believe it, but nevertheless, Wayne Rooney, absolutely brilliant. One of England's iconic players in the nation's history. I don't even know what I'm trying to say at this point, but yeah, I think we should move over now to another player on this list, okay? Now, for me, the third player on this list, it was a little bit of a difficult one because I feel like over recent seasons, you've got to include a Man City player in there. And for me, it has to be Kevin De Bruyne. I've mentioned him in a previous video I did when I first started this channel, basically saying Kevin De Bruyne, for me, is the greatest ever Premier League midfielder. And for me, if you are the greatest Premier League midfielder, you've got to be also on my Mount Rushmore. Okay, you just have to be. And for me, when you think about Kevin De Bruyne, he's won 19 trophies at Manchester City, okay? That's 3 more than Wayne Rooney. So from that point of view, Kevin De Bruyne should almost be second on this list if you really think about it. Because let me just read out some trophies he's won, okay? He's won 6 Premier League trophies, he's won 5 League Cups, he's won 2 FA Cups, 3 Community Shields, and he's won 1 Champions League, 1 FIFA Club World Cup, and 1 Europa Super Cup as well. So that's 19 trophies in total. And when you think about Kevin De Bruyne, the player Kevin De Bruyne, he's a magician in the midfield, isn't he? He can see a pass and he can play the perfect through ball to those strikers, to those wingers, left wingers, right wingers. He can play 1-2s to the strikers. He can play, you know, triangles in between the midfielders and whatnot. Honestly, his passing range is probably the best thing about his game. But he's also got shooting ability from inside the box, outside the box. His crossing ability is absolutely pinpoint perfect to the strikers, to the wingers, to the midfielders running in from deep and whatnot. His assist numbers and his goal scoring ability is absolutely fantastic. So for me, Kevin De Bruyne has to be on this list. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, you've got midfielders in the likes of Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, Paul Scholes, Yaya Toure, you've got Cesc Fabregas, you've got all of these players that are brilliant in their own rights as well. But for me, Kevin De Bruyne beats all of them. Like, he honestly does. When you think about the Manchester City side and how he sort of evolved over the years since he first joined, obviously I think did he get signed under Mancini? I'm pretty sure, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. I think it was Pep Guardiola's first season, I don't know. But he's transitioned into so many sort of sides for Man City. That's what I'm trying to say. Where, it first began with the likes of, Aguero, Sterling, Leroy Sané. You had Fernandinho in the midfield. You had Gundogan there. And then sort of back into his career before he retired, he had the likes of Haaland, Phil Foden, Riyad Mahrez, Gundogan as well. You had obviously John Stones and Kyle Walker. So he's seen the best parts of Manchester City. He's been a part of that best side of Manchester City's history. Okay, he has gone down in history for that club, and he probably is their greatest ever player, alongside the likes of a Sergio Aguero, Vincent Kompany, Raheem Sterling, those types of players. You know what I mean? I feel like he probably will be their best ever player, like at their all-round game, if that makes sense. Kevin De Bruyne for me. And also, when you think about Kevin De Bruyne for Belgium, to sort of be an underdog team for all those years, in the World Cup, in the Euros as well. He didn't really go that far, didn't really win that much for Belgium, but to be competing with those top nations for so many years was fascinating. And you could probably say to yourself, well, they're a little bit unlucky to not win something, because they had some brilliant players, Belgium, back in the day. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne, Romelu Lukaku, Eden Hazard, Vermaelen, Vertonghen, all these guys in defence, all these goalkeepers, Courtois as well. They had a brilliant team, Belgium, so they're probably a little bit unfortunate to not win anything with his national team, at least. And for me, Kevin De Bruyne will go hands down the best midfielder in Premier League history, so he has to be on my Mount Rushmore. I don't care what anybody says, okay? For me, when you watch him, he's such a fascinating player. He can do everything with the ball. He sees stuff that I don't even see on the pitch. When I'm playing the game, I don't have a clue what he's going to do, okay? And I feel like defenders are terrified to play against him for that reason alone. And now you've got to think, when he's at Napoli, do you actually reckon he can go back to back and win Napoli another title? Maybe he might. With the addition of Kevin De Bruyne in that Napoli side, I reckon they'll just be just as good. And you probably see them dominate for a few more years before he probably ends up retiring as a whole. Okay, moving over now to our fourth player on this list. Now, for me, I wanted to get a winger in there because obviously I've had two strikers, a midfielder, and I feel like you've got to get a winger in there. And this might go down as a controversial one. Now, you do have players of the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Eden Hazard, Ryan Giggs, but for me, the person that I want to include is Mohamed Salah. I want to include Mohamed Salah as my fourth player on Mount Rushmore because of what he's done for Liverpool over the recent seasons. Okay, from the last, I want to say, 6 or 7, maybe 8 years at this point. I don't even know how long it's been. For as long as I can remember, anyways, Mohamed Salah has probably been the best winger in the Premier League for the last 5+ years. And for me, he's obviously won a total of 7 trophies at Liverpool, which is the same amount of trophies as Thierry Henry. And when you think about that, obviously he spent more time in the Premier League than Henry did. But when also you got to think he's at the age of what, 32, 33 now. I reckon Liverpool will only get better and better. And with the signings they've made, you've also got to think to yourself, maybe Mohamed Salah can sort of help them get over the line to bring some more trophies in the next 2 or 3 years. If he stays at his best, at his peak of his powers. If he can be at his peak of his powers, I reckon Liverpool can go back to back Premier League title holders at least next season in 2026 anyways. But yeah, when you think about Mohamed Salah, he's absolutely fantastic. He gets bags of goals. He scores 20, 30, even 40 plus goals in some seasons. He's done that, okay, and absolutely brilliant. When he first signed for Liverpool, I would have not expected him to be this good. I'm not going to lie to you. Obviously, he came from Roma. He was a half-decent player in the Serie A, but he didn't tear it up, you know what I mean? He didn't impress as much as he has done in the Premier League. So from that point of view, I just didn't think he would, be a world-class player as he is. Maybe that's just me downplaying the player. Maybe that's not me not watching him enough in the Serie A, of course. But for that Liverpool side under Klopp, he was absolutely brilliant. That partnership of that front three of Mohamed Salah, Roberto Firmino and Sadio Mane was absolutely fantastic for that certain time period. And you've got to think to yourself, He probably was the main reason why Liverpool have won so many trophies. Don't get me wrong, the other two are fantastic, but without Salah, I don't think you're going to get those Premier Leagues out over the line. I don't think you're going to get a Champions League over the line. So for me, I feel like he is the fourth player on this list. It might be a little bit controversial because you've got the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, who's won more trophies than him. He's got 10 trophies in total, and obviously, but when you compare the two, for me, I feel like Mohamed Salah beats Ronaldo because he's done it. He's got the longevity on his side. Mohamed Salah, doesn't he? Compared to Ronaldo. Ronaldo left after like 3 or 4 years with Manchester United. So from that point of view, I feel like, you know, Mohamed Salah to sort of help Liverpool end their sort of Premier League drought after like 20 plus years is absolutely fantastic. That is undeniable. You can't like forget about that. And you know, I feel like either way, with or without Cristiano Ronaldo, Manchester United at that time period were going to win trophies either way. Don't get me wrong. So from that point of view, I feel like Salah probably does have the edge over Ronaldo for me. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe let me know in the comments down below who you would rather have. Would you rather have Ronaldo or Mohamed Salah? For me, for the longevity reasons, I think Mohamed Salah just edges it over Cristiano Ronaldo. Then again, when you also think about Mohamed Salah, he's been in the Ballon d'Or race for so many years now, and I feel like he definitely does deserve to win a Ballon d'Or. So hopefully he can potentially do it again maybe this year. Maybe this year can be his year if Liverpool either win a Premier League, win a Champions League. Hopefully Mohamed Salah can get a Ballon d'Or on his CV because he definitely does deserve it, doesn't he? The player he's been over the past 6 to 7 to 8 years. I don't even know how long it's been, okay? The player has been, he definitely deserves it. So from that point of view, he's the fourth player on my list. I don't care, again, what anybody says. It's a bit of a tricky one because for me, the first two in Thierry Henry and Wayne Rooney, they're very similar to like a Michael Jordan and a LeBron James. I feel like these two players are always going to be guaranteed to be on everybody's Mount Rushmore, and then the other two positions are a little bit up for grabs, aren't they? So it just depends who you like watching, who gives you the most memories from that sort of, whether that's your childhood, whether that's now, from the present day, who knows? For me, I think these are the 4 best Premier League players to ever live, okay? That might be a bit of a strong statement, I know, but these are the 4 best that I've liked watching from back in the day, and to the present day at least as well. I don't know whether I'm going to try and do some Mount Rushmore graphics, okay? Whether that's putting their faces onto the rocks, I'm not too sure. But if I am, I'm going to put it now in the video. So let me guys know what you guys think of my Mount Rushmore list, okay? Do you agree with the 4 players I've included on this Mount Rushmore list? Obviously, the 4 players on my Mount Rushmore list are Thierry Henry, Wayne Rooney, Kevin De Bruyne and Mohamed Salah. Let me guys know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let's end off this video with some questions, okay? What do you guys think of my 4 players on this list? Do you definitely include Thierry Henry and Wayne Rooney on this list? Are those 2 the most guaranteed players to be on the list? What about like an Alan Shearer? Am I missing an Alan Shearer? I spoke about him a little bit in the Wayne Rooney section, but maybe I should have included an Alan Shearer instead, because to get 260 goals and to be the top goal scorer in the Premier League, to not be included feels a little bit of a disservice, I know, but I'm a little bit too young. I never ever watched Alan Shearer in the Premier League. That's just my fault. I don't know whether... I'm not using it as an excuse. It does feel like a bit of an easy excuse at the end of the day, but I didn't really watch him. So for me and my personal views, I can't really speak about him as highly as the other guys on this list. What do you think about Kevin De Bruyne? Is he the greatest midfielder in the Premier League? Does he deserve to be on Mount Rushmore? And what do you think about Mohamed Salah? Would you choose somebody else ahead of him? Would you choose a Cristiano Ronaldo ahead of Mohamed Salah? Does Ryan Giggs deserve to be on there because of all the trophies he's won? I think he's won like 13 trophies maybe at Manchester United. Who else is in there? Eric Cantona, Eden Hazard. Who else would you include if it wasn't for any of these 4? Okay, I'm going to stop rambling now. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. It's very much appreciated. And I just want to say a massive thank you to get 59 subscribers. Absolutely amazing business from you guys showing your support on these videos. Absolutely fantastic. And I can't thank you guys enough, okay? All the likes, the comments, all the support on social media. It definitely doesn't go unnoticed. And let's just keep up all the hard work and all the support on my videos. So yeah, I'm going to stop rambling and I'm going to end the video. I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace out.